Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome to Live Q&A with the Dice Tower. It is March 29th, 2018. I was not here. Normally I do these on Monday, but because I was traveling with my children, visiting Washington, D.C. over the past couple days, so I was out of town for a bit. But I'm back, and so as always with these, I answer your questions live. So if you have any questions, you can pop them in. Now, we're streaming this on both YouTube and Twitch. Let me see if I can pull up the Twitch feed here. I'll check the Twitch feed occasionally, but I'm going to be, let's see. I'm going to be, by the way, Twitch is twitch.tv/the Dice Tower. I'm going to be mostly taking things from the YouTube comments. So let's see if I can get this. Here we go. All right, so if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. I don't answer every question. If you ask multiple times, it doesn't make it a higher chance that you're going to get it answered, but I'll answer as many as I can. Okay, so what did I see in D.C.? We went to the three big Smithsonian museums, the Air and Space, Natural History, and the American History. We also rode the Duck Bus, which drives around on the streets of D.C. and then goes down the Potomac River, goes into both water and land. That was fun, and that is pretty much what we did. Oh, we also walked around and looked at the monuments. The Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial. We saw the White House from a distance and the Capitol. So that's what we did. The best thing we did there, I probably like the Museum of Natural History the best. We went to an area where we were able to look at stuff with microscopes, and we spent a while in there just having fun, pulling fossils out of drawers and just looking at them and with microscopes. That was pretty neat. Any fun Easter candy ideas for a game night? No, I would just bring the candy and just have it there. I don't know that I have any ideas other than just bring candy and give it to people. Have we had the opportunity to crack into Justice League Dawn of Heroes yet? No. And I'm answering that for a couple of reasons. One, because it wasn't anticipated. One, the rules are pretty blah, so that's one of the reasons it hasn't hit the table. But also, if we do get to a game, you will see a review of it. So that's an easy way. If you're like, I wonder if they looked at this game yet? Well, has a review gone up? Then probably not. I mean, obviously, we're ahead a couple weeks on our reviews. There's a lot of games that I've taken a look at that you haven't seen a review of yet, but they're coming soon. I've recently been hanging around with some game designers. Have you found that designers tend to be hypercritical of board games in general? In private, yes. Most game designers are pretty critical of game designs. Not necessarily as a mean thing, but just they're like, okay, well, this could have probably been done better. They look at everything analytically, which is fine. It's just how their brains work. Have I done a best dudes in a map yet? I have not. Any updates for your potential visit to Snakes and Lattes? Well, I'm starting to wonder if that's even going to happen at this point. I looked at the schedule for when we go to the Gathering of Friends, and there is no trip to Toronto planned where there's a Gathering of Friends. And then we went to the Blue Jays game, and then we also stopped at the Snakes and Lattes. So I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, I would like to take maybe a day and go up to Snakes and Lattes, but I have no real way to get up there to drive to Toronto. I'm not really sure I'm up to the driving myself. How do you teach yourself new games? For me, I just open them up and play them. But I don't necessarily recommend it. But I will say that it's a good idea when you're learning a new game to set the whole game up, like the rulebook shows you, and to go through the rules and move the pieces around. It's a whole lot easier when you see the game in action. How do you like your Apple Watch? I like it a lot, but I don't use it for most of the things that I probably am not using the full potential of it. I use it to keep track of my health a little bit. I use it for the time. And I use it to know when I get a text message on my phone, and for directions when I'm driving. Which contributors of the Dice Tower will be at the CMON Expo? I don't know completely yet, but the main folks will be there, except I don't think Eric. Eric is not going to be making it. How was Zulkin? I played it at MeepleCon. Yeah, I enjoy it more now, for sure. I still don't think it's going to ever be one of my favorite games from those designers, but it's a very good style game, and the expansion helped out a lot. Expansion gave everyone an asymmetrical ability, and I enjoyed that. Not so keen still on the whole having to plan ahead, I mean, that sounds bad. I understand planning ahead in games. But Tzolk'in requires you to say, okay, this worker is going to be in this spot on that turn, and so I need to pull these on that turn, and I'm going to get this resource. There's a little bit of this. I need to have this done at a certain time so that I can do this at a certain time. And because of that, that's not my favorite thing. I don't want to have to like count out turns in my head. But other than that, I do enjoy it. Let's see here. First time I disagree with you. Well, probably won't be the last. Kingsburg is way too samey. Decent game, but even with expansion, just some gather resources and prep for a dumb fight. Champions of Midgard, same feel and better. Well, I agree that Champions of Midgard is more fun for me than Kingsburg, but that's fine if we disagree. I played Kingsburg a lot, and I've enjoyed it. I never felt it felt samey because I picked different buildings each time. Puerto Rico or San Juan? I never played either, and it seems I would only want to get one or the other. They're very different games. They are completely different games. They have the same theming and the same background, but San Juan is closer to like Race for the Galaxy. If you were saying San Juan and Race for the Galaxy, that would make more sense. But Puerto Rico is a board game where you're gathering resources and shipping them. San Juan is basically about building buildings and utilizing cards to get those buildings done. Will we ever do a talk back about Kickstarter exclusives? Probably at some point. Let's pop over to Twitch, see if there's any questions there. There's not. Just a bunch of people doing emoticons. All right, fine. Are you coming to UK Games Expo? I am. I met you last year when my group was playing Red Dragon's Inn. You didn't seem to like the game. Well, if you like the game, that's fine. Red Dragon is just not my style. I'm sure a lot of people enjoy it, and it seems to be doing very well. So I'm not going to bag on the game. So there's that. No Grand Con this year. There is Eric Summerer is going to Grand Con this year, so you'll get to see him there. Is there a Christian service on the Dice Tower Cruise? Yeah, I run one. I mean, it's not expected that people go at all, but I run one for people who want to come one. We do that every Sunday morning on the cruise. Speaking of the cruise, the inside rooms of the cruise are sold out. So go figure. You can get on a waiting list for them. In case someone gives up their room, you'll have a chance to get that. But there's still some balcony and ocean view rooms, but they are going quickly. I'm very pleased about this. It's almost a year away, and it's almost sold out. But if you're thinking about Dice Tower Cruise, I would not hesitate. Did the Chief go to Washington, D.C. with you, or was the Chief on a special secret mission? Actually, me and the Chief have not been working together for the past 3 months. So, no, I don't know where he is actually at this point in time. He hasn't notified me, but that happens a lot. But last I knew, we had gotten together for the triennial Flupam conference, and we were testing out the new Earthsmorks, which is kind of like a short-range transporter device. It's to make hops in combat. So like if I'm about to punch you, and then you can quick jump 2 feet to the side. They're a little dangerous at this point in time, but we were testing them out. Okay. Let's see. Next 30-hour marathon will be probably winter 2018. How do you decide if a game's price was a deal? How many times we use it or else? I'm not sure about time stories, expansions, blah, blah, blah. That's up to you. That's up to each individual person. Is worth it? You know, like I've found myself paying $20 for a single event, $30 to go somewhere, you know, things like that. And that's a one-time thing. And that seems like a lot of money to eat. Every time you eat, you're essentially eating money. If you go out to eat, you know, is that worth it? I've always found that interesting that people will kind of quibble over the price of a game, and then they'll go to McDonald's. I'm picking a cheap restaurant on purpose. They'll go to McDonald's, spend 25 bucks. You're never going to see that 25 bucks again. You're not going to see that McDonald's food. It's boom, boom, and gone. But You do that, and you have to go, what is this 50 game? How many times are we going to play it? It just kind of fascinates me how people kind of put a different emphasis on food than they do on games. Food is a one-time thing. And I picked the cheap restaurant. You go to a pricier restaurant, it's going to cost a lot more. Sometimes many meals at the pricier restaurants cost the same amount as a board game, and you'll never get that back. Why do you do them? Because the experience of the restaurant, it can be fun, spending time with friends. Well, so is a board game. So if you're going to play a board game 5 times, you've way outdone food. Now, always when I do this, someone's like, that's why I don't go out to eat either. Well, that's fantastic. But then you got to determine, what are you spending your extra money on, and is it worth it to you? Thanks for all the nice comments here, by the way. Do you have an Easter favorite food? Nope. Shrimp is what I'm making again this year. Shrimp and sausage. On a recent podcast episode, you said you like viticulture. Any player can accept the full count of 6. Well, I think that 6, I'll play it with 6 maybe, but it's just too long. The more players you add to a Euro game, the longer it is. That's just the way it is. And so, you know, by the time you have to wait for 5 other people to put their workers out before you. So 5 is, I tend to like these Euro games more with fewer players. Not because I like sitting at a table talking to a whole lot of people. It's a great time. But it also is a really long time between your turns, and I don't find that as enjoyable. My 70-year-old mother lied twice in her first 2 turns of Sheriff of Nottingham. Can she be trusted? Oh, of course. Should big companies like CMON really use Kickstarter? Isn't that small designers? I think anyone can use Kickstarter. And anytime someone gets all like in a froth about like, oh, should this company use Kickstarter? Where is the line? When is someone not allowed to use Kickstarter anymore? I've always been kind of mind-boggled at that, where I want certain companies not to use Kickstarter. So when they made 5 games, 6 games, when their company's worth 100,000, 200,000, you know, it's hard to make these arbitrary rules, right? And there's also a lot of people who do very well on Kickstarter and yet manage to make themselves look pretty small, right? Like, for example, Stonemaier Games is no longer using Kickstarter, but he's a fairly small company, but yet his games do really well on Kickstarter. He could be considered a big company by many other means. He's decided not to use Kickstarter anymore, but if he did, is that a problem? It's all just, to me, it's just rhetoric and stuff. I think anyone can use Kickstarter. You decide who you're going to back. If you think a company's too big, then don't back them. Back someone who's smaller. Top 10 movie musicals. Well, that sounds fun. The best movie musicals of all time. I would probably put Greatest Showman on that list at this point in time. I'm just going to name some as I go through here and look at them. I would definitely put Singing in the Rain. I like that one a lot. I really like Mary Poppins. I really like Oliver a lot. I like Hairspray. I'm excluding cartoons from this mix right now because there's a lot of Disney ones that would be on here, or remakes, because Beauty and the Beast, very good remake. But I'm excluding Disney from this right now. That one was okay. I'm not as big of a fan of In the Woods, actually. It's okay. The music to me is just Annie. I do like Annie a lot. The Music Man, Willy Wonka. I like Willy Wonka a lot, the original one. Not White Christmas, the one before White Christmas. I like that one. I forget what it's called. Let's see here. No. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Yeah, I like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but I don't know. Guys and Dolls, that's good. Oliver, the Muppets. Yeah, that's true. The newest Muppet movie, movie number 1 of the reboot, that one I'm going to put on the list here because I thought that was a very good one. Little Shop of Horrors? Yeah, I do. You know, maybe Little Shop of Horrors. I thought I liked the musical of that one. The Music Man, maybe. Chicago, no, I'm not a huge fan of that one. I feel like there's a couple that I'm really missing here. Meet Me in St. Louis, I do enjoy that one. Phantom of the Opera, Enchanted. Enchanted only has a few songs in it. That's How You Know is one of my favorite songs, but I don't know if I would consider that a movie musical. Grease and Grease 2, they're good. I mean, we sing the songs a lot in them, so there's that. Let's see here. Another Showboat. Oh, I do like Showboat a lot. Funny Girl is good. Oh, La La Land. Yeah, La La Land's in my top 10. I really, really liked La La Land a lot. So there's probably a few that I'm missing here. The Sound of Music. My Fair Lady. Nah. Wizard of Oz. Nah. I mean, I like all these. West Side Story I like, but yeah. Okay. Well, there's some. Hey, let's jump to Twitch, see if there's any questions there. Do you think BGG should offer crowdfunding? I don't know. It's hard for someone has emailed me recently and said they were starting their own board game crowdfunding website, and I wish them great success and good luck, but it's hard to get rid of an established player in any kind of industry. And since the board gaming is the biggest part of Kickstarter right now, I don't see why someone would go try a new one. Maybe Board Game Geek could pull it off. It's possible. They might be working on it. I don't know. But I don't know. It would be very difficult, I think, to leave Kickstarter. Indiegogo keeps trying to pull people from Kickstarter, but it looks like Kickstarter is winning that battle. Do you need to be exclusive to Twitch streaming in order to get the sub button? I don't know. We're still learning about Twitch streaming at this point in time. We have become we've become a partner with Twitch, I guess, at this point in time, but we don't know quite everything about Twitch at this point in time. Let's see here. Dice Tower can be an affiliate. The contract states 24-hour exclusivity. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know exactly. We've been talking about this, do we want to stream on Twitch and then post the stuff on YouTube later? But we have a pretty good audience as we stream on YouTube. So it's kind of a tricky situation to hold YouTube and Twitch. There's a couple things about streaming that we've been considering, right? Is we want to do more streaming. We want to do more stuff live. It's a way to interact with you all. But one of the problems that I'm running into right now is people knowing when we do things. So we tweet it out, we Facebook it, but sometimes we're like, hey, let's stream right now. That's not always useful. So how can is there like a web page where we can just have all the upcoming streams, and then you go to that web page and to see what's coming up from the Dice Tower in the future, and that way you know. That might be useful. I'm not sure what the best way to do it is, but we're still kind of working out where we want that to go. I don't know. There's no way I'm still thinking about it. All right, let's go back to the YouTube comments, of which we are 10 minutes behind. So let's catch up here. Do you agree with Z and prefer Sonar over Captain Sonar? I haven't played Sonar, so I can't imagine how I would enjoy it more because I love the real-time aspect of Captain Sonar a lot. Can you reveal any news about this year's Dice Tower Con? Well, sure, when there's news to be said, but I mean, there's only a few tickets left for that also, and that's going to be fantastic and fun. When we have our complete schedule of events, we'll be listing those and talking about those as it gets closer. Tom, come to Comic-Con experience in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I don't believe I've been invited to that one, but it sounds like it would be fun. What happened to the Ham Tag guys? Oh, they went off and started their own channel. So Bart has his own channel, and they do their stuff on that channel. Let's see here. Am I missing something about Charterstone? I found the gameplay very basic and a pain in the butt to stop and read new rule changes every few minutes. There's not new rule changes every few minutes. I mean, I guess there's a lot maybe in the beginning if you add several in one game, but they're very, very minor rule changes. It is a simple game. It's not a very complex game at all, but I don't think gameplay needs to be complex to be good. Our legacy game's not for me, he says. I don't know. It depends. How's Whitlopedia doing? I think Jared Whitley is doing fine. He's in Dubai. I know he's busy and doing other things. He said that maybe at some point he'll come back to Board Game Breakfast. Haven't heard any updates about Critical Mass. Well, we did you can go and watch and see the latest version. Just type Critical Mass, I think, into our search engine or Arcane Wonders. We did an overview with them at Gamma, and I know that as soon as they have a beta copy of Critical Mass, they'll be rushing that to me, and I'll be doing a full showdown and look at the game. Is there a spot that shows the cons for everyone in the Dice Tower group is going this year? No, that might be an interesting thing to put up on the website, though. Maybe I'll work on that. Ready Player One excited? I don't know. I know it's kind of a mixed reaction. Ready Player One has a lot of fans and detractors out there. Obviously, the book. I've read the book. I've read the book multiple times, actually. The Ready Player One I have mixed feelings about, both as a book and as the movie. For the book, I read the book and I enjoyed it. Very nostalgic, looking at all the things. Not sure I liked the main character that much, but it was a very interesting book, and it was fun to see all these nostalgic things from the 80s. The second book I didn't like at all, really, because it felt like it was a retread of the first book. In fact, it felt like a retread of the movie The Last Starfighter, where he even mentions that in the book, which is fine, okay, blah, blah, blah. But it felt like he was saying, hey, 80s reference. In fact, the main character would say things like 80s references or they would say movie references the entire book. To the point where it's like, really? You talk like that all the time? And I don't know. I just did not like the second book at all. Then I read some critiques of the first book and stuff, and I went back and read the first book again, and the critiques are right. The first book, for a lot of it, is literally just listings of nostalgic stuff. There's literally, he just lists things that happen. And also, I did some math on this kid and how old he was, and if he had had a chance to, like he said, he had seen every episode of all these shows from the 80s and watched all these and read all these. I was like, wait a minute, you don't have actually the physical time to have done all that stuff. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I was less impressed. It was more like live in the past and yay, that's your future. I don't know. I wasn't as impressed with it on up readings. I'm not saying it's a bad book. I just wasn't as impressed. The movie itself, I want to go to. I want to take my kids to it. But are they going to catch all these references? And is the story going to be good? I mean, I've already noticed that in the movie, he is not unless they changes, he was kind of a chubby kid in the book to the point where he had to use like an exercise bike to work off a certain amount before he could even get on the internet at one point, where he lost weight, and that was a big deal. I don't know that it doesn't look like they did that in the movie. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to take the movie in its own merits. It doesn't have to be the book and everything, but I'm not like thrilled about it, but I'll probably go watch it. How do you do the look back reviews? Do you go back and play the game again? No, I don't have time to go back and play the game. I just go back to the previous review and update the score on my memory of the game. Now, sometimes I have played the game since, a lot of times actually, but I don't have time to go back and play 30 games every week. It's just not possible. It seems lately you haven't been as hot about Origins as compared to other game conventions. Well, I think that might just be a misconception. I'm excited to go to Origins. I'm excited to go to all these cons. There's just a lot going on. So at any one point, it's like, ooh, what con are you excited about? Well, probably the one I'm going to next. Next, in a few weeks, we're going to be going to the Gathering of Friends. It's a small invite-only thing, and I'm excited about that because I'm going to get a lot of games played. Then after that, we got the CMON-Con coming up in May, and then I'm going to a homeschool convention. This is a new one I just added to the list in Orlando, Florida. It's close enough for me to drive to. So I figured that is a good audience to talk about education and games too, and get them to watch a Dice Tower. So I'm going to go and show up there. So if you happen to be going to that, you'll see me there. And then after that is the big ones, you know, the UK Games Expo, Origins, Dice Tower Con, Gen Con, 4 in a row. Boom, 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 boom. Do you know if Geek and Sundry will be inviting reviews to their Tabletop Day stream again? If so, were you invited again? I don't think they were. However, I've been talking to Geek and Sundry, and so I guess I can announce this here, that we will be doing a prelude to Tabletop Day. So the Friday before Tabletop Day, we're going to do some streaming here. As to what that streaming is, well, I'm going to make an official announcement later. We'll know some more about what we're doing exactly. I'd like to do a sequel to our RPG session that we did for the first one, so that would be fun. But so there's that coming up, and it's not going to be an official tabletop thing, but we're working with them, and they'll promote it, and we're going to promote them. On Tabletop Day itself, I just wanted to go to the local stores and things like that, so I'm going to try to hit 3 of them on Tabletop Day. So I'm going to go up to Kendall. There's a new board game cafe up in Hollywood that I'm going to go to. Then I'm going to stop by and say hi at the Hollywood store, and then come back to the Kendall store, which is my home store, and game there. That's my goal for Tabletop Day. Do you believe that with the Major Rising Kickstarter, for people who don't pledge games, that scalping is becoming a problem? Maybe, but again, there's always games you can get that are good. There's always good games that you can buy. Do you think the Voyages of Marco Polo can still be enjoyable even for people who hate randomness? Yeah, I think so, because I know a lot of people don't like randomness, but they still like that game. All right, jumping over to Twitch to see if there's any questions on Twitch. If you set the category to IRL, you will get more foot traffic over time. I don't know what that means. There's a lot of Twitch terms that I'm still learning. Were you surprised by how well Sheriff has done? No, I really thought Sheriff had an opportunity to be as big as it is, and so I mean I'm a little surprised sometimes, like, wow, that game did really well. But I was pretty impressed. I was fairly confident it would do very well. Geek and Century is the 3rd highest number of subs on Twitch. That was surprising to me. Wow, there you go. So that is cool. Let's jump back to YouTube. Your top 10 bad games by great designers is one of your best. Have you had any feedback from designers that appeared on the list? I don't. A few of them have talked to me about it. I actually, the ones that I talked to about it, there was several of those designers at the convention. So I told Richard Launius, I told Eric Lang, I told Ignacy Trzewiczek, and they all assured me that the games that I said were bad were not bad. How do wildlings work in Catan Game of Thrones? Well, if you go watch my review, I explain it there. I actually did a review of it. I think certain things will add them and they'll come out, and eventually they'll breach a wall if you don't have enough guards in the wall. Will I do more History of the Dice Tower videos? Yes, yes, I'm going to be working on that. Hopefully, you might see some of those next week, actually, or the week after. What do you think of Rado moving back to the States? Will we see more Rado Dice Tower live games? Possibly, but he's also moving to the opposite corner of the America from me, which is pretty far, actually. But I'll probably run into him at more conventions if he goes to more U.S. conventions, which I would assume he would now. My favorite animal to see at the zoo? Oh, monkeys, because monkeys are the most interesting. They do things. The other animals just kind of sit there. How does one learn to be a game designer? I mean, just by playing games. That's always been my big thing. Hey, you want to learn more about games? Then play more games. And that's kind of my focal point when it comes to games and doing better at designing them. I think you need to do them. High fives or handshakes? I'm more of a handshake kind of guy. High fives, you're always like a little awkward. Like, are we hitting hard? Do I move in? Does it hit me low? A handshake is very, very, I don't know. I like handshakes. Do you dye eggs for Easter? We don't always, and so this year, no. It's probably too late. Maybe my wife will with the kids, but there's a lot of different things going on this weekend. Easter being on the beginning of April just corresponded with a lot of other things, so I don't think we will. What are my Easter traditions? Well, I always go to my early church service, which you're invited to if you're in South Florida, First Baptist Church, Cutler Ridge. So I'm always very involved with that. I do my early service, then we have Sunday school, I do that, and then we do the morning service, and then I cook Easter dinner for everybody who wants to come. So if you're in the area, you want to come to that, let me know too. So that's what I do on Easter. Then I go to bed because I'm usually really tired. I'm running a Kickstarter. How does one balance between stretch goals and add-ons? That's a huge question. Ask someone else who runs a lot of Kickstarters. It's a really tough thing. And I've not ever run a Kickstarter for a physical game. So it'd be better asked to people who do those for sure. Let's see. Did you ask the Brothers Murphs to interrupt your segments on Board Game Breakfast from MeepleCon, or was that all their idea? No, that was well, they had an idea of doing one thing, and I had an idea of doing another thing. So we actually did two different things. I don't know where the other thing is going to show up. But yeah, I love that sort of thing a lot. I know some people are not as amused by that, but that sort of thing makes me smile all the time. How old are you? I'll subscribe if you answer. Well, I would have answered anyway, probably. I'm 41. Yes. Planning an Easter egg hunt for the kids? I've done that occasionally in the past. I don't know if I'm going to do one this year or not. You said you make a good salsa. Can you walk through how to do it? Well, I just made what my wife said was the best salsa I've ever made. I was very, very happy with it. So I took a fresh pineapple and chopped it up, one whole pineapple, and then I took a bunch of plum tomatoes because I found that they worked really well. Chopped them up, threw it in, put in some fresh cilantro. So I had those, a red onion. Did I do the whole red onion? Yeah, I did the whole red onion. A bunch of red, orange, and yellow peppers. I threw in some pickled banana peppers, not too many, just a few. And then I took 2 jalapenos, really diced them up small, and threw that in. Added some Berkey's Happy Mouth seasoning and a few other seasonings, garlic, salt, and a few other things. Mixed it all together. Did I add anything else to it? But man, was it good. I was very happy with how it worked. Pineapple salsa is moving up to be my favorite. I like mango salsa and raspberry salsa, but pineapple salsa just works really well. The texture of the pineapple is good. I'm not feeling well today. What's your favorite soup when feeling under the weather? Well, I'm just a traditionalist there. Chicken noodle soup. When I'm not feeling well, chicken noodle soup is where it's at. Would you consider giving ratings or warnings if you find art in a game that seems questionable? I think I mentioned that in my reviews when that happens. Will you ever organize a small convention in Miami or the Florida Keys? I'm actually considering doing that. It might happen in the future. Let's see. Jumping over to Twitch. Nope, no questions on Twitch. Back to YouTube. People keep asking about Dinosaur Island. It's up to you if you want to buy it. Florida is going to be destroyed. You can take 5 games and 5 other items with you. What are they? I'm taking my family, and I'm taking the computers with the pictures on them of my family, and I'm leaving the games behind because I don't care at this point in time. Have you finished Skyrim yet? Does anyone ever finish Skyrim? I haven't played it for a while, though. I won't subscribe to you if you don't tell me what your favorite game is. Well, that kind of threat doesn't actually work for me, but you can go find it out online. I've made lists of such things. Thanks for the Reckoners recommend. Started the first book and really enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed that, and now I'm reading Mistborn. Mistborn is by the same author, so I started reading that, and I finished the first book of that. Really good book. I'm in the middle of the second of the original Mistborn trilogy. I guess there's more stuff, or I'm not sure. but it has me on board. I really like it. The main character I really enjoyed, and I enjoy all the different characters. They do a good job at showing heroic but flawed characters, and that to me is a lot of fun. What games are too seasonal? I don't think that there's a lot of seasonal games, honestly. And I don't know that I would play a game because of the season. I think I'd play a good game all year round. What foods are too seasonal? Now, that's definitely the case. My daughter would come in here and say eggnog because she thinks eggnog should be available all year round, and she really, really likes it. I would say seasonal foods. There are some foods that I get. Oh, Cadbury cream eggs. Why they're only around at Easter is beyond me. Everyone likes them. Everyone thinks they're phenomenal. Why do you hide them the rest of the year? Maybe it's to keep us all healthy. What other foods are seasonal? Oh, turkey. This one drives me nuts. Turkey's a delicious thing. Why not eat it all year round? Why is it Thanksgiving, Christmas only? It's very weird to me. Do you like Super Mario Maker? You know, I never played Super Mario Maker. I probably should. Tom, I love Pandemic, but my brother took it when moving out. Now playing Legacy, I got my friends and don't like to buy the same game. Should I get Iberia or Amsterdam to replace the base game? I have not played either of those, so I can't tell you. Do you believe that Kickstarter has become an addiction for some people? Sure, I think some people are addicted to Kickstarter, probably. Let's jump over to Twitch. Have you tried Universal Paperclips? I don't know what that is. What's the most expensive hat in your collection? Oh, I try not to buy really expensive hats because I can't afford them. This is a nice one. This one was not super cheap, I don't think. I don't remember, though. I think I paid $70 for a hat once. I don't know. It feels super expensive, so don't tell anyone. Have you ever been to Oregon? I have not. Tom, you like Descent and you like Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. Why don't you like the Road to Legend app for Descent? It's fantastic fun, better than Mansions of Madness. It's not, actually, in my opinion. The reason I'm not a big fan of it is because it makes me constantly sort through all my cards and pull out things. The computer moving the monsters around, first of all, the part about Descent I liked a lot was the Dungeon Master. I didn't care about Dungeon Master in Mansions of Madness, so when I replaced it, I was happy. But I like being the Dungeon Master in Descent. So if they're going to remove me, then my favorite part of Descent from the game, then they better replace with something fantastic, and it's not. It turns the monsters into computerized things, and I played them as thoughtful monsters. And also, though, if you have a monster, you got to find the card for that monster stat. I wish they had put all that into the app. That would have made the app so much better. If you could have anyone as a new contributor to the Dice Tower, who would you want? You. And I don't say that lightly. It's not like I'm looking for specific people to join the Dice Tower. If you have something new and interesting and fun to bring to the Dice Tower, then let me know. I'm looking for new and different and interesting voices to add. I'm not looking for a particular person. I'm not hunting down other reviewers and things like that. I mean, most of them have their own channels anyway. I want new people, and I want to see them grow and see them do great things, like the ones that are on the channel already. Since you mentioned homeschool and teaching, would you ever do a new series on games that are good for educational purposes and teaching kids about various concepts? Sure, and I plan to do that soon. What's your stance on professional YouTube people? If internet ads were not a thing or internet went back to its roots, would you still do the Dice Tower in a not-for-profit fashion? Well, I think the answer to that's pretty obvious, right? I did the Dice Tower for years, for a decade, for no money. I don't, well, maybe it wasn't a decade for no money, but it was close to a decade. And I did it then, so yeah, sure, I would do this as a hobby. I probably wouldn't be as involved as I am now, because I would have to make money some way. This is my first time going on a Dice Tower cruise. What will be different from the last Dice Tower cruise? Well, we're going to different places for one, and the ship's going to be different for another. And I have some different ideas, but we're not going to announce everything that we're doing because I'm still working on it, and it's also a year away, so I have other conventions before then to get going. When is the Feud and Review dropping? This is the third person asked this. It could be soon, right? But for it to be soon, it would have to be close to me. What? Look for it soon. All right, let's see here. Back to Twitch. Any question there? It's an online browsing game, Universal Paperclips. Oh, okay. Like Lemonade Tycoon, but will surprise you. It doesn't take more than a few hours. Okay, I'll have to try that out if I get a chance. If I don't do it by the next Q&A, remind me again. What time is the Thunderstone live play tomorrow? YouTube channel says 7 a.m., but you tweet at 10 a.m. Well, it depends on where you are. So if you're in California, maybe it is 7 a.m. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Home haircut, local barber, or national haircutting chain? I'm a fan of local barbers myself. What's your favorite video game to play with other people? My favorite video game to play with other people is probably... Okay, I'm going to assume we're going to take out the things like the games that we play on like Twitch, the you don't know Jack style games or things like that. So like just a video game, I would guess Super Mario Kart, probably. Do you feel if it's cheating to bring a pen and pad to the table? Sometimes I have a hard time remembering the changes during the game, but my friends sometimes do not like me using it. I'd be very suspicious, like why are you bringing that? If you're keeping track of hidden points that people get, I'd be very opposed to that. It seems like it's a cheat. I get that not everyone has the same memory. Like you say, well, I can't remember everything and so-and-so has a better memory than you. Yeah, maybe, but so-and-so also might be better strategically than me. That doesn't mean I can bring in a friend and say, hey, what should I do next? Can I play Cosmic Encounter with 3 people? According to the designers and many people, yes. According to me, no. I think it's not good with 3. I enjoy your new titles and editing on the reviews. Who designs all of that? Well, the editors do. Whoever's editing it, it's mostly Derek Porter, and he's doing a lot of that, doing a great job. What do you enjoy most about going to conventions? Meeting people there. Really, that's my favorite thing about going to conventions. And the food. Would you ever consider tracking your board game plays for just 1 month for people to see? I cannot emphasize strongly enough how I will never ever do that. Oh my goodness, the critique from that would be horrific. So no. Have you ever wanted to try a ghost pepper with a Carolina Reaper? No. No, I mean, if you offered me a whole lot of money, I'd consider it, but no. Eating a raw jalapeno or a habanero is already pretty bad enough. I don't see the reason to do those. I've had sauces based on both of those, but I'm not here just to blow my mouth out. I like spice. I like spicy things. But as I get older, I don't care if it's spicy. I care if it's deliciously flavored. If it's deliciously flavored and spicy, fantastic. You know, we were just at a Korean restaurant, and they wanted to know how hot we wanted the chicken, and we wanted it pretty hot because we like that flavor of that. But this whole ghost pepper, Carolina Reaper, that's getting kind of ridiculous. People are just, it's almost like people are just saying, well, you know, I ate the hottest pepper in the world. Oh, well, good for you, sir. And then some people are like, no, I really like the taste of the Carolina Reaper. Yeah, really? Is that why you ate it the first time? I don't think so. The habaneros, there's a lot of great peppers. I mean, habanero is pretty much the hottest pepper that I still enjoy the flavor of. Pineapple habanero salsa. I might do that, but my kids were also eating it, and I didn't want to blow their mouths out. Jumping to Twitch. Is Betrayal on House on the Hill with 5-6 players? I can take my turn, leave for 5 to 10 minutes, and come back, take my turn, and miss very little. Do you think this is a good game? I think it's an okay game, but I don't think it's great. My favorite fast food? I'm getting less and less impressed with fast food all the time. My favorite fast food is probably Mexican fast food. Maybe pizza, I guess, if you consider pizza fast food. Do you read XKCD, the webcomic? Yeah, but I tend to read it in spurts. Like, I'll be like, I haven't read XKCD in a while, and I'll go read like 3 or 4 weeks of it. I have a lot of webcomics I like. There's this website that I'm surprised isn't more popular. It's piperka.net. So I go there, and when I go to piperk.net, I log in. So let me log in here, if I can remember my login information. And then it will tell me the different comics I read and what's new of them. So here we have The Order of the Stick, and we got Goblins, and Player vs. Player, and XKCD is there, and Dork Tower, The Joy of Tech, Basic Instructions, Sandra and Woo, The League of Super Redundant Heroes, and so Wonder Mark. So those are just some of the comics that I read. And so I'll say, oh, there's 12 new Player vs. Player. So I'll go through, click on that, and then just read through each of those. I don't like necessarily just reading these, especially the serial ones, just one at a time. All right, let's see. Back to YouTube. You should read Way of the Kings from Sanderson. I'll get around it. I'll get around to it. I'm reading a lot these days, so I will do those. Thank you for the Dice Tower group on Facebook. Yes, I should take this time to mention someone on Facebook got a little annoyed at us for not posting as much there. I'll post occasionally in the Facebook group, but as I tell people all the time, if I post a lot on Facebook and Twitter and all these things, then you'll get less content from the Dice Tower. I would assume you want more content. So when you spend a lot of time on social media and posting on social media and interacting, that's great. I'm not saying it's bad, but it does make you less productive. It just really does. So I spend some time there. I keep an eye on the group, and I'm glad everyone has a great time, and I'll come in and mention things occasionally. It just won't be a ton of it. What do you think of the new prequel show for Lord of the Rings? The budget is 10 times the movies combined. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just talking to someone about this the other day. Those movies are amazing, right? Those movies are, like, to me, perfect. They're great. The actors, the pacing, everything is so well done. How are they going to outdo that as a series? I don't know. I mean, are they going to add stuff? Are they going to change things? Are they going to bring in new actors? I don't know. I want to be the new actor. We need you to be, you know, the new Samwise Gamgee. I don't want to do that. You know, who's going to be the new Gandalf? You know, this is I'm not, you know, if it works, and I'll be the first to say, you're right, it's better than movies. I can't believe it. I'll gladly say that if it's true, but I don't know that I would have even attempted it. Do you ever feel pressure to review big games before smaller releases? Sure, and so sometimes we do. I review whatever I think looks interesting. You're one of the few people who has actually played both of these hard-to-get games right now. Which would you choose to play, Lords of Hellas, or Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea? I do like them both. So if you put me on the thing and said, right now, play one of them, I probably lean a little bit more towards Lords of Hellas. I was wondering if you, Sam, and Z check out the Facebook group, because I don't see you guys comment much. Oh, I definitely keep an eye on it, for sure. With Critical Mass, Giant Killer Robots, Galaxy Hunter, Gigo Robo, Starship Samurai, do you think the next trend is Gundam Robotech themed games? Yeah, I do. Did you back all the expansions for 7th Continent? I did. How do you feel about these internet active books such as Journal 29 and Librarian's Almanac? I don't know if I've read any of them. When will the Gold Rush game happen with Stephen Bonacore? I don't believe I agreed to do that game, did I? When is Deep Pockets going to be released? It's this year. I don't know the exact date of it yet. Let's see here. Did Thomas' wrong segments come in as a trickle or a flood? Just a trickle. I think I have 2 I'm sitting on. that I'm going to be playing. So if you have some segments I'm wrong, I mean, I'm being constantly told that I'm wrong on the internet. Send in those videos. I'm not gonna not put them up. I mean, unless they're vulgar, I won't put those up. But if you think I'm wrong, put it up. Let's go. Especially some of those really heavy critics of mine out there. You know someone, and they're criticizing me on Facebook or somewhere and say, hey, Tom has agreed to put you up to say why he's wrong. Challenge them on this. Because I like that when, you know, if someone's going to call me out, fine. Then call me out. Or just post on Facebook. Which one's better? Come on, guys. I know you want to do it. Let's see, any plans to venture into a Spanish Dice Tower channel? Not at this point in time, no. Advice for a Civ 5 noob? Oh yeah, what I would advise you is to delete the game and get Civilization 6. I'm not kidding. Civ 5 is my least favorite of the entire series. Well, Civ 3 maybe. No, Civ 6 was much, much better. When reviewing a new game and the rulebook is a mess, how do you figure things out? Well, sometimes I don't, and then we put the game away and it never sees the light of day again. A bad rulebook will get that frustrated with it. I might email the designer if I'm really, really wanting to play the game and ask for clarification, but if we can't figure it out, then we don't figure it out. Have you received the Tom is wrong video that has made you mad yet? No. I don't know if any of them would make. I guess it's possible. I guess if you said Tom is wrong about like something that wasn't games maybe, and you got like super personal with it, I guess. I'm not challenging people to do that because I don't think that's a good idea, right? But no, I haven't. What are some major red flags that you look at for when looking at a Kickstarter? If they don't show the gameplay, I'm out. If it's there's a couple companies that if I see that company's name there, I'm out. If the game looks like they stole someone else's game, I'm out. That's a red flag. If they have no previews, reviews, or anyone talking about the game at all, that's not necessarily a red flag, but it makes me wonder why. I'm out. If they claim to be the next Monopoly or anything, I'm out. You know, if they claim to be, or if they tell you just consistently this is the next all-time classic, I'm probably out too. We'll tell you if your game's a classic. You don't tell me. Do you think the audio cutting out, glitching during your top 10s is finally a thing of the past? I don't know what you mean. During our top 10s? Our top 10s aren't live. We record them ahead of time. There's audio glitching in them? What exactly do you mean by that? I've never heard anyone complain about audio in the top 10s. Jumping over to Twitch. What's the best board game that has a strong or very central religious biblical theme? I don't know, actually. The best one? There's only a few good ones, actually, so I don't know. Let's see here. Okay. What's the worst data loss you've ever suffered, either of Dice Tower data or personal? I lost a whole bunch of pictures one time that were personal. Documents and stuff, but I usually have most of the stuff backed up. Actually, I'm very, very excited. See, when we do the Dice Tower Kickstarter every year, I was just talking to someone about this. You know, there's this whole, you know, there's things that are sexy, like, ooh, we got a new video camera, and we got some new, you know, other things that you can see. But there's stuff you can't see. So we just spent a good chunk of the Kickstarter money, not tons and tons, but a lot of money, on a new server for the Dice Tower. This is not sexy, it's not cool, but it's really important. We are getting in 64 or so terabytes hard drives, synced hard drives that we're going to be able to all work together and save all our programs on, and have a server that we'll be able to work remotely from, and that will have all these files on. It's coming today, I think, actually. So this isn't something that you're going to see, but it's going to make life so much better for us. And this is the kind of thing we wouldn't be able to do without the Kickstarter. And it's not something that's like, woo, you're going to see changes tomorrow from this. No, but you're going to see changes overall from the Dice Tower as a result of having this good infrastructure of this server. And I'm really excited about this. I was really nervous to meet Tom at a convention because he's huge. Well, I wasn't going to punch anybody. I have trouble with large, noisy rooms when playing games. Are there conventions with smaller, quiet rooms? Well, there's a lot of conventions like that. Dice Tower is one of them, actually, where there is small, quiet rooms you can play in. Even Gen Con has smaller rooms. Like you can go, if Rio Grande, I don't know if they do this year, but Rio Grande has a room to go play games. That room is much more quiet and smaller than their big, giant rooms. Monumental looked very promising, and then they canceled their Kickstarter. They're going to reboot. Yeah, I know. I am always a little curious about this. So Monumental is a Kickstarter. I said, that looks really interesting. And then it reboots. I got an email, here a comment, and people are like, so what's changing? I don't believe I work for that company, so I don't know. I'm not really on the ins on all the different Kickstarters. I know nothing. I didn't even know it was canceled until someone told me. They're rebooting it. That's all I know. Living in Florida, you have access to some great fishing. Have you ever gone out to catch your own seafood? I have not. I've also not shot my own cows for meat. And I also don't chop down my own wood for when I get a new shelf. There's some things, I know they're fantastic, I just don't do them myself. Have you ever read Manly Guys Doing Manly Things webcomic? I have. Do you ever think they'll make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Legendary Encounters? Yeah, I could see that happening. Tom, I got a luxury problem. I game group of 6 people, and we often are all there. Any suggestions for good, deep 6-player games? There's a few, but I recommend you to split into 2 3-player games. It works fine. Do you think you might be of Dutch ancestry? Well, maybe, but I'm mostly Polish and Czech, I believe. I'm surprised you're worried about a sequel series, adding stuff or changing things, because that's exactly why I despise the movie. Jackson screwed up characters and stories I love. Well, that's just where we're going to have to disagree. I'll say this. The movies are better than the books. Hobbit, I'm not talking about that. The book's better. But the Lord of the Rings movies are better than the books. Now, obviously, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one, and I certainly can understand people who think the other. But I always thought that Lord of the Rings books were good, but not fantastic. But the movies are my favorite movies of all time. I love them. I think they're fantastic. Sure, the new series might be better. But yeah, I know. Why took out Tom Bombadil. Good. Tom Bombadil doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't have made any sense in the movie. Why they took out the Scouring in the Shower. Yeah, I think I would have liked to see that. But you know what? The way the movies ended was very, very fine. So, again, I understand that people got different opinions on this, but it is what it is. All right. Well, I managed, I think, to answer most of the questions. So that's going to be that, I think, for today. Thank you guys for watching on both Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow, we're doing a live stream of Gloomhaven. No, Thunderstone Quest. I don't know why I said Gloomhaven. Thunderstone Quest tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sam and I are going to be playing Thunderstone Quest. We'll be playing it Epic Style. You definitely want to stop by for that because you can win a copy of it if you come and watch that. So that will be exciting. And there will be more than one winner. So that's pretty neat. And then I believe Sam's doing a Sam vs. the Internet live thing tomorrow. So there's that too. So that's what's happening. I'll be doing my live Q&A here. Monday next week, we'll get back on a normal schedule. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.